All right, so my presentation is not super LabVIEW related, but I switched jobs from NI. I've been there for 17 years, and when I moved on from the NI world into the system integration world, I got asked a lot of questions about why I left, and what lessons I learned. I actually went back to NI and shared with all the sales guys kind of what I learned in the first couple of months of being outside of NI. So I thought I'd share some of those life lessons with you guys, girls, guys. The question I got asked a lot is, what happened? Is the grass greener? And what is life like outside of NI? Where I'd been, I think I said that earlier, I'd been there for 17 years before I left. That was my first job out of college. And so going to fresh consulting was the second thing I'd ever done career-wise in my life. I learned some interesting lessons. You've probably heard this before, but cash flow is a really big deal. It's interesting as a system integrator, right? You win a project, you buy some parts, you build a system, you ship a system, and then you build a customer, and you have terms with that customer of net 30, and they never pay in 30 days, they usually pay in 45 or more. So you have this upfront investment that takes you sometimes up to 9 months to get paid for. And that can be very painful to a small company, right? And it's something you have to plan for and think about. That time between buying parts and getting paid is pretty crucial. And I learned you can die from growth, right? Growth is a good thing. It's a problem, but it can still be a problem because when you sign up to build projects, you have to have the money to fund those projects. And this applies to a small company like Fresh, but it applies in probably all of our situations, right? This can happen. Maybe if you work for Boeing where they have billions of dollars. Just kidding, Brian. Still applies to you as well. But you cannot have that money in order to accomplish those projects in order to get paid for them when you're a small company. So cash is king definitely is real. The second thing I really learned is that all that really matters is schedule. Schedule and risk, those are more important than anything. So especially schedule. I was really surprised how important schedule has become for me and for Fresh and for, I think I underappreciated it when I was at NI. And, I thought when people complained about ship times, that what are you complaining about? You're going to get it. But really, you care when it comes because you have these schedules that are important. And so when something slips by 2 weeks, that could really mess up your schedule, right? Some difference between small versus large. One thing that I felt is that things have become way more real, way more impactful for me at a small company. Things move a lot faster, I feel like, and the things I'm working on have a direct effect to what happens at the company. A couple of weeks ago, I had the CEO of Fresh call me I was on vacation, and he called me as I was leaving that morning and asked me a bunch of questions, and I hung up the phone and thought, the CEO and I never called me. I don't know why that didn't happen. It feels more real, I guess. It's also very loud and distracting. When you're in the mix of an engineering project, there's just so many things that have to be done that come at you. They all feel like priorities, and you can never get them all done. Now, I felt that way as a sales engineer and I before, but it feels even way more intense now working on engineering projects. I'm seeing a lot of nodding heads, so that must resonate. The other thing I found at a small company is there's not a person for that, right? At a big company, there's a person who does that thing or who accomplishes that. And I never did a quote, right? I configured systems and said, now you guys go make the quote, it has all that cables and whatever in it. Now I do all the quotes at Fresh, and so I'm the guy filling out the spreadsheets and doing all that detailed work. That's just one example, but you have to wear a lot of hats, which is fun and kind of exhilarating, but also can be conflicting and sometimes overwhelming. Now, one of the things that really surprised me, and you guys are probably going to laugh at this, but what I realized, you have an engineering project, has a start and a finish, and all this stuff that has to happen in between. And it's complicated, and it's confusing, and there's tough problems to solve. And through all of that, there's this little tiny piece in the middle that is the NI LabVIEW data acquisition PXI system piece. When I was at NI, I've told the sales guys this, they know it now, I thought that was the whole thing, right? The NI piece was the most important thing that could possibly ever happen, and it was going to pass or fail. The system was based on NI. And it was surprising to learn that I thought it was way more important than it actually was for 17 years. That it's hard It's complicated, and all I really want is the NIPs to work, and I want it to show up on time, and if that happens, I'm happy on this engineering project. So. All right. So let me answer the question: is the grass greener? So I got a visual representation here of the grass at NI and the grass at Fresh. And what's the difference? Anybody?
Different types.
Just different grass. Just different grass. New things to learn, new challenges, and that's what I wanted was some new challenges, and that's what I definitely got in spades. Of where I'm at now, but really for me, this might be a little cheesy, but really for me, what's really important is my family, my wife and kids, and that's what I work for, so I can support them and be with them. So thanks.